Hallo, guten Tag, schöne Grüße. Wie geht's dir? Ich hoffe, dass es dir gut geht. Also heute ist also die dritte Woche, so it's week 3, and our title is Hast du Zeit? So do you have time? So wir haben also diese Woche die erste Klasse. So we have the first lesson this week. Okay, so bitte den Titel aufschreiben. So write down the title, Hast du Zeit? Und bitte auch das Datum für heute aufschreiben. So write down the date for today. Und heute ist Montag, also Montag, der 18. Januar. So Montag, der 18. Januar. So Monday, the 18th of January. Okay, let's look at our lesson aims for this week. So we're going to be looking at expressions of frequency, so time phrases. We're going to be looking at the position of verbs in German sentences. So that another name for that is word order. So how we organize our sentences in German. Then we're going to be applying our vocabulary learned, and we're going to be looking at how we can improve even further. Okay, our starter task bitte zum Anfangen, die Fragen über dich selbst beantworten. So you've got 8 questions here, and I want you to answer these questions about yourself, okay? Now, there is a challenge here. It says use intensifiers in your answers, okay? So let's look at an example. Was machst du in deiner Freizeit? Okay, first question. So what does that mean? You can just say it out loud. What does it mean? Yeah, what do you do in your spare time? So the challenge is to answer with gern, sehr gern, or gar nicht gern. I'm going to give my example. Ich lese gern. I like to read. Or ich lese sehr gern. I really like to read. Okay? I'm going to call out the questions for the next ones. Spielst du gern Videospiele? So for this and for the rest of them, you are going to be answering with ja oder nein. So spielst du gern Videospiele? What does that mean? Do you like playing video games? Okay, so you're going to either be answering ja, ich gern, or ja, ich sehr gern, oder ja, or rather negative would be nein, ich gar nicht gern Videospiele. Okay, I hope that's clear. I just didn't want to give you the answer to that one. So spielst du gern Videospiele? Faulenzt du gern? Fährst du gern Rad? Siehst du gern fern? Chattest du gern mit Freunden? Liest du gern oder gehst du gern ins Kino? Okay? 8 Fragen, bitte ganz schnell. Ja oder nein. Okay, so quick answers to these. Danke. You can put the video on pause. Okay, I'm just going to run through the verb that you should have answered for these. Okay, so Nummer 2, let's start with 2. Spielst du gern? You should have said ich spiele. Okay, so it could have been ja, ich spiele gern, oder nein, ich spiele gar nicht gern. Faulenzt du gern? Do you like to laze about? Ja, ich faulenze gern. With an ich faulenze gern with a ZE. Or ich faulenze nicht gern. Gar nicht gern. Fährst du gern Rad? Do you like riding a bike? Ja, ich fahre. Ich fahre gern, oder ich fahre gar nicht gern, oder nein, ich fahre gar nicht gern. 5. Siehst du gern fern? Do you like watching TV? Ja, ich sehr gern. Okay, or nein, ich sehe gar nicht gern. 6. Chattest du gern mit Freunden? Do you like chatting online with your friends or with friends? Ja, ich chatte gern. Or it could have been nein, ich chatte gar nicht gern, oder ich chatte nicht gern. Liest du gern? Do you like reading? Ja, ich lese gern. Oder nein, ich lese gar nicht gern. Gehst du gern ins Kino? Ja, ich gehe. Do you like going to the cinema? Ja, ich gehe gern. I like to go. Oder nein, ich gehe gar nicht gern. I don't like to go. Okay, so did you notice in this exercise the verbs, the irregular verbs that we had last week? So fahren, remember that change in the second person, fährst. Lesen, to read. Liest, remember that change in the second person. And then sehen, to see. And that changed in the second person to siehst. Okay, ganz gut. When you're ready, just click on to the next page. Okay, so heute lernen wir die Zeitphrasen auf Deutsch. So today we're going to be looking at time phrases in German, or frequency, expressions of frequency. So for this, you've got two tasks here. First of all, I want you to match the English with the German. So match the time phrases in English with what you see in German. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that I want you to organize the German time phrases by the most frequent to the least often. Okay, so what is the most frequent and then what is the least often? Okay, so two things to do. Pause, please, while you're doing that task. Dankeschön. Okay, oh, ich habe die Antworten schon gegeben. Okay, let's have a look. How did you get on? So first of all, I reorganized the time phrases here in English by most often to least often. Okay, so let's have a little look at them one by one. So every day is jeden Tag, always, immer, often, oft, fairly often, ziemlich oft, sometimes, manchmal, now and then, ab und zu, rarely, selten, never, nie. Okay, how did you get on out of that? What did you get out of 8 Punkt? Hör zu und wiederholen. Also hör zu und wiederholen. Let's go through them again. Jeden Tag, immer, oft, ziemlich oft, manchmal, ab und zu, selten, nie. Okay, wir gehen noch weiter. So, grammar today, please write down the title. Grammatik, the second verb. Gosh, I don't know why it seems to be, that's really annoying. So write the grammar and examples in your book. So the verb second rule, sorry, it says Grammatik, the verb second rule. Sorry, I don't know why it blocks that at the top. So let's look at the grammar. So in German, the main verb comes as the second idea in a sentence. Okay, it might not be the second word. So let's look at some examples. That's the easiest thing to do. So, die Schule kommt an erster Stelle. Okay, so the second idea here is the verb. So the school comes in the first place. Okay, so this is if you're doing a survey, for example, an der ersten Stelle could be another time phrase, in the first place. An erster Stelle kommt die Schule. Okay, so what we've done in the second sentence is we've done the time phrase this time at the beginning of the sentence. In the first place comes the school. Okay, that's very different to English, because in English we'd say, in the first place the school comes. Or just, you know, but in German we actually swap them around. So the verb is the second. The next one, ich spiele oft Fußball. So I often play football. In German, we're saying I play often football. Okay, we know that already. That's what we've been saying a lot. The only extra thing that we've added in here now is a time phrase. Okay, our time phrase oft. Okay, so far we've done ich spiele Fußball. I play football. But now we're adding in our time phrase, and it is coming after the verb. So ich spiele oft Fußball. Now in the next one, oft spiele ich Fußball. So now we've changed them around and we put our time phrase at the start of the sentence. So often play I football. Okay, so in German, let's look at it in another further explanation. So when our sentence starts with the time phrase, okay, oft, immer, manchmal, jeden Tag, we swap around the verb and the subject, okay? So we swap the verb and the subject, but the verb is still in the second position, Okay, so let's look at the last example again. So oft is the time phrase, spiele is the verb, and then the ich is the subject. Okay, the person who's doing the action is then after the verb. Okay, we will practice, so don't worry, we'll have lots of practice. Now, I've also written down BBC bite size. So this is the stage where you can pause and you can watch the little video. It's a 2-minute video on BBC bite size, and it actually explains it really nicely as well. Okay, so pause this video and watch the bite size. Dankeschön. Okay, wir werden jetzt ein bisschen üben. So let's practice a little bit. So what I want you to do is I want you to put the words in the correct order and start each of the sentences with the word in bold. Okay, and secondly, I want you to translate the sentences. Okay, so let's maybe do A together. So it says, the instruction says to start with what's in bold. So we know that we need to start with jeden. Now, I want you to just do this. Let's do this out loud together. I want you to see, can you do it out loud together with us? I'm going to give you a second to see what the first one would be. Okay, so jeden Tag höre ich Musik. Okay, so jeden Tag, we know that that's our time phrase, every day. And then höre, we know that the verb has to come second, höre. We know then that the subject has to come after the verb, the ich, and then the rest of the sentence, Musik. And what does that sentence mean? Translated, every day I listen to music. Okay, pause now while you do the rest of the sentences. Dankeschön. Okay, wie war's für dich? How did you get on? So Nummer 2 dann würde, nie malt mein Bruder. Okay, and that means my brother never paints. Okay, nie malt mein Bruder. Or literally you're saying, never paints my brother. Okay, the next one, say, oft gehen wir einkaufen. Okay, how did you get on with this one? Did you remember that it's einkaufen gehen? Okay, this is tricky because it's 2 verbs, einkaufen gehen. And the verb that we always conjugate is the gehen. So ich gehe einkaufen, du gehst einkaufen. So it has to be oft gehen wir einkaufen. Okay, D. Ab und zu fahre ich skateboard. So ab und zu, so now and again, I go skateboarding. Remember in German, ich fahre is I drive skateboards. And in literally here we're saying now and again, drive I skateboard. Okay, but we know that's now and again I go skateboarding. Okay, next one. Manchmal surft Alex im Internet. So sometimes Alex surfs online. Okay, I think that one's pretty straightforward. And the last one, täglich chatte ich mit Freunden. Okay, so täglich, did you guess what that might mean? Every day. So täglich, another time phrase, write it in your book, please. Täglich chatte ich mit Freunden. So every day I chat with my friends, or daily I chat with my friends. Okay, now you have a little challenge there. Can you write your own sentence now that you've got the hang of it? Can you write your own sentence with the time phrase? Okay, pause the video while you do that. Dankeschön. Okay, wir werden jetzt wieder üben. Let's do a listening task now. And I want you to listen to Velma talking about what she does in her free time. So you need to name the activity. So what is it that she's doing? And how often does she do it? Okay, can you get, there's also some extra information. And I'm telling you now that it's an opinion. So what does she say about the activity? Okay, remember please, when we're doing this task, that you are going to hear the time phrase first, and then you're going to hear the verb. Okay, so I'm just giving you the heads up on that. You're going to hear the time phrase first and then the verb. Okay. Was machst du in deiner Freizeit? Mal sehen. Was mache ich in meiner Freizeit? Ab und zu spiele ich Videospiele. Das ist lustig. Manchmal gehe ich ins Kino. Oft chatte ich mit meinen Freunden. Das macht Spaß. Was noch? Ich male selten und ich bastle nie. Ich finde es so langweilig. Okay, if there's anything that you missed there, you can go back and listen to it. Okay, so there's 13 pieces of information and we'll go to the answers in a moment now. Okay, wie war's für dich? So let's see, how did you get on? So remember, the time phrases were first. See how many did you get right? Wie viel hast du richtig gekriegt? Check them, please. Give yourself Punkte out of 13. Wie viele Punkte hast du gekriegt? How did you go with the activities? How many of those did you get right? And there were 3 extra pieces of information. How many of those did you get right? Okay, so bitte write down your score out of 13. Okay, was machst du in deiner Freizeit? So to finish with, I want you now to write sentences. I want you to write at least 4 or 5 sentences about what you do in your free time, okay, using the time phrases. And I want you to put the time phrase at the beginning of the sentence, at the start of the sentence, okay? Mindestens 4 Sätze schreiben, at least 4, write at least 4 sentences. Okay, ganz gut. And remember to upload your lesson to Google Classroom. Vielen herzlichen Dank. Und wenn ihr irgendwelche Fragen habt, könnt ihr mir einen Text schicken. You can send me an email if you've got any questions on the lesson. Tschüss, auf Wiedersehen. Danke.